All right, hello and welcome. We are going to be talking about human anatomy. I am Kelly Schroeder, and one of the things that we want to answer is why study anatomy. So, anatomy is the study of the human parts, and physiology is how they function. Okay, and there's a number of things that we learn about the human body when we start to study it, and that is that there's lots of variation. So if you count the fingers on this hand, you will realize that this hand looks maybe different than yours. Okay. So empathy is the ability to share another's feelings. So if you thought about it, would it be that big of a deal to have an extra finger? Well, it is when you're buying gloves, but that's about it. Okay, so interesting. We study anatomy so that way we can understand differences between people. We study anatomy if we're going into the medical field or, going into some sort of healthcare field. So we have to know how the human body works if we want to keep it healthy. And then lastly, sometimes people study anatomy simply because they want to continue in school. And in order to learn more, you have to learn the basics, and how living things work is very important in understanding the world and the complicated place that we are. So, again, in this class, we're going to study the human body, the parts, and how they work. This is what your textbook would look like if you requested one from the library. I believe that you can still do that if you go through the library website. And if I can show you right here, you have the Santa Ana High School Library, and on there you can request textbooks, hard copies. So there that is right in the center of the screen if you go to the Santa Ana High School Library website. Okay, so our textbook can be utilized online, and if you want a copy, you can request one where I showed you. In this class, we do take notes. The only way that I know to convey information to you that will allow you to actually understand and process that information is through writing it down, thinking about it, asking questions, and then having it to go back and study and review. Okay? Those skills that we learn, the content that we learn all apply to the labs that we do. I am hopeful that we are going to get back into the lab when the COVID numbers drop and we have lower numbers. We'll be able to get into the lab, small groups at a time, and do our own dissections. It should be amazing. Okay. Um, we work to create an experience. We will work to create an experience online. It will require your help. So you guys are going to have to help me find good activities. Tell me what works. Tell me what doesn't work. So that way we can do as many things outside of the lab as possible, giving you the best knowledge. Okay, so topics covered. We're going to talk about the body plane and different ways that we refer to the human body. This right here is known as the body plan. Okay. Um, this right here is one of the things that we normally do, use the microscope to look in and see the histology. Histology is going to be the cells that make up the different body parts. And this man right here is looking at the picture that's outlined towards the bottom of the screen, those little purple funny shaped items, those are neurons. And the picture, the drawing with the labels, that is a diagram showing you what we know is there. Okay, so inside that there's a little thing that says neuroglia, and neuroglia are supporting cells for the neurons, and it does say that size and shape vary, but you would look at something in a textbook, you would see the different parts. You would then go to the microscope and be able to see them. Now, your neurons aren't really purple. That's a dye that we use in order to make sure that we can see the cells, okay? And we're going to be looking at cells that make up all four different types of cells in your body. We have epithelial cells, connective tissue, nervous tissue, and muscle tissue. So all of our cells falls into one of those four categories. The first system we're going to study is the integumentary system, hair, skin, and nails. From there, we'll study the skeletal system. The skeletal system is very interesting, and I bet you will be surprised to find that it does more than you expected. We will be talking about the brain and the nervous system. And of course, the brain and the nervous system control your reflexes as well as your five senses. So, how we taste, how we smell, how does sound go into our ear and become words that we understand? How is it that we're able to look at something and we're able to make context of it? These are all the wonders of the human body. Okay, so that's where the semester ends normally. I hope that we get that far with our online study or hybrid or back to school, however it is that we're doing it. That's first semester. Second semester, we start out talking about the cardiovascular system. And of course, your skin is supplied with nutrients that you eat from your intestines. Okay, so when we start thinking about the blood flow, the blood is what connects all of the parts of your body, allowing your body to get the fuel, resources, and such that it needs. How does all that fluid get moved around? Well, your heart pumps it. This right here is a picture of a sheep's heart. The main part that we see is the ventricles. Those are towards the bottom of where that black dot is. Everything below that black dot in the center of the picture. Those are the strong muscular ventricles, and we explore the heart pretty thoroughly. The heart's my favorite unit. Okay, we'll talk about blood. I was just saying your blood is what connects all parts of your body. And these are red blood cells we see here. They look a little bit like odd-shaped donuts, but there's a special reason for that shape, and we'll talk about all of that. I'm sure you all realize that you have blood pressure. When you go to the doctor takes your blood pressure. Blood pressure is considered a vital sign and is one of the general things that a doctor would look at to determine your overall health. If you have high blood pressure, that's a problem. If you have low blood pressure, that can be a problem. So blood pressure is a good indicator and something that a doctor takes every time you go to the doctor's office. We hopefully are going to be in the lab and learn how to take each other's blood pressure. It is an interesting thing to do. Okay. We're also going to study the electrical currents in the heart, how the heart functions, how it operates, and so forth. Okay, we'll then talk about digestion and nutrition. We'll talk about how that nutritious food that you eat gets into your blood vessels and so it can travel around to all the cells in your body that need nutrition and fuel. Okay, and then we'll talk about muscles. You have three different types of muscles in your body. You have cardiac muscles, skeletal muscles, and smooth muscles. So we spend more time talking about our skeletal muscles than the others, but we do talk about the others as well. Normally we cover the reproductive system as our last unit before we start our rat dissection. So who knows where we'll be at this point in the year. This is what I'm hoping that we'll accomplish this year. I do want you to know that I don't want to overload you with homework. I don't plan on giving you so much homework that you feel like you're just doing busy work. The course design of this class is that you think about it as constant review. You have to think of yourself as an anatomy student basically at all times of the day. And you need to have little cheat sheets and Quizlets and other things around, pictures and drawings, things that will remind you of this content. If you remember learning to speak English, if you remember learning to try to speak a second language, maybe your second language is Spanish, you know that you have to practice these things in order to get them right. So as far as homework, I don't give a lot of homework. but there are activities I ask you to do. And well, those activities might involve your composition book and some colored pencils. Okay, so make sure that you got a notebook. We'll be starting on Monday with how we take our notes and what you're going to get points for. We'll discuss very specifically the rubric I use for grading your composition books. Okay, um, please be on time to class so that way you understand what's happening. At the beginning of each period, I will go over the work that's going to be required of you during the week. I will put that same information in the Google Classroom and online. Please know that you can drop in on me during office hours in order to get extra help. Please know those office hours are posted on the web page, okay? Um, your phone, your other headsets, the other things that you're distracted by, I can't help you stay focused in this distance learning environment. So you're going to have to use your best self-control, your best judgment, and you're going to have to make sure that you're focused on what you're supposed to be focused on. There's no point in listening to my voice but not hearing the words I say. So when you're going over the content for this class, if you expect to learn it, you need to be in a quiet place. You need to be listening with some headphones. You need to be focused on the things that I'm talking about, the pictures I'm showing you, the explanations I'm giving you, and those should work to your benefit. Okay, so please don't forget why we're here. We are here because we can't be at school. We're also here because we want an education. An education is the way we turn poor societies into societies of people that can sustain their lives and have basic health care and have food and have opportunity for small businesses, for higher education, for a life that we would consider to be a quality life.